Hello, all. Welcome back again. We are about to talk about episode 5. This is a juicy episode. A lot of exposition because they had to set up. Like, if we're looking at a graph chart of how a show is comprised, episode 5 is where we hit the peak. And now it's time to hit the explosion. So that's what we got in this episode. Without further ado, do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Now let's get right into this episode of Vault Dwellers. So, this episode, we focus on certain groups of people and certain narratives. Our favorite weird-ass doctor is back, and he's dating an automatron. That dude's weird as hell. But hey, to each his prerogatives. Love in the wasteland, love in the wasteland. And he is literally kidnapped by Hank, and we get the ghoul, and then we get the ghoul. We get to go back to see what his life was like when he met Mr. House. And it is confirmed that the guy acting as Mr. House in all these meetings and stuff is not actually Mr. House, which is cool. Then we get Lucy and the ghoul, and they escape the Death Claws. So we're going to focus on these pockets of stories, as well as we get Lucy's brother and his survivor group, which is very interesting. I like this part of the story. So first things first, we'll talk about, I think it's accurate to talk about Lucy's brother. And his survivor group. Now, he's one of my favorite characters in the show. And they arrive at Vault Tech. Yes, they actually arrive at a California sector Vault Tech. And it's pretty cool to see that building somehow still standing. And once they get inside, it's like decrepit. They make jokes about how some people are still like at work when the bombs drop and they just died on their job. And there's like an elevator and it's like blocked off, and in this elevator it's like nothing but rad roaches in there. There's a rad roach all in this elevator. They're all terrified, and one guy's like, I gotta craft a weapon. He grabs the fan, which is, a little hint at the game. And then characters from season 1 show up. Yes, characters from season 1 show up. The lady who ran the shop, she's there with her partner, and they pull up with the strap on them, and everybody's like, oh shit, they're scared senseless. And they're like, oh, what? Oh, she's like, God damn it, Vaulties again. So she sits down with Lucy's brother, and they start having a conversation. So she's like letting Norm know, like, you gotta be careful out here because things are going crazy with the cons and NCR. And the Legion all battling for territory is starting to bleed over from Vegas. So whatever's happening in Vegas is a powder keg for the West Coast right now. And she's like, never forget about those Enclave weirdos. Like, I hate to tell you, honey, your sister's dead. And Norman's like, nah, you don't know my sister. No, she's not dead. No, not at all. You don't know my sister. She's like, well, I know the Wasteland better than you. And your sister's dead. Which she does not know is a sister. You know what I'm saying? The Fox, the McClane kids is no different. So in this interaction, she's like, all right, well, you know what? I'm gonna, be nice to you. And, she's returning the favor because, Lucy did save her life. So she's returning the favor, and she's like, y'all can take whatever supplies you want, which we know she's a tight ass over shit like that. So it's really cool to see that, like, her character, even small characters in the show, are impacted by the Vault Dwellers characters, the kindness that you get from growing up in the vault, that they're impacted by it, and they see them as like baby lambs, basically. It's like they don't, like, it's easy to be nice to them because you see no harm from them because they have no idea this shit. And that's a pro and a con. So she tells them to take all the supplies, and she's leaving, and her, her best friend or lover, it's not really implied who this other woman is that is always with her. She's like, look at you being a good Samaritan. And she's like, shut the hell up, I'm trying to do something nice for once. That's pretty funny. So this group of Norm survivors, remember there was a one girl who was like, I can't see, and like she's always standing out the little. She's kind of like she has a bubbly personality, but she's always looking like she doesn't belong. Um, as everybody's going through everything, and that one guy, Bud's secretary, is like basically leading the charge here. Norm starts talking to her, starts trying to pry from information about like what could actually be happening. And then she goes and she like basically tells him like she just started there a week before the world ended. Like literally. And she's new to this program. So Norma's talking to Claudia and she tells him about Barb Howard. How she was the one in charge of everything. Like Bud's wasn't really high up. Barb was the one that was like actually talking about putting the plans in motion. She's huge in this episode, dude. Barb Howard is starting to play a huge role in the Ghoul. The Howards, they might be involved in this directly into the world. So he goes in a room, and Norm. Now we know officially, Norm is 100% intelligence, 100% intelligence, 100% perception build. The dude is keen-eyed, spot on. He immediately gets on Barb's computer, and as Claudia is talking to him about everything's going on, they bond. She finds out that she like figures out like, dude, you're not one of Bud's buds. They're all crazy. You're normal. So like something's going on. Like something's like this is not it. He admits to her. He's like, yeah, I wasn't exactly put in the management position by Bud, but I am, I am who I say I am, and I'm just like from Vault Tech. Like he confirms that he doesn't necessarily give away his hand. He just lets you in on a little bit more of the truth to get trust. And she's down. She's like, I need a drink. Do you want a drink? You ever had vodka? Which I like this because it's like this little love connection that's going on. And he's like, no, I've never had a drink before, ever, because there's no alcohol in the vault, I guess. So she's like, okay, let me make you a vodka. She goes off to look for liquor in Barb's outfit. Her office. And he's cracked into her PC. Top tier hacking skills. He definitely heard that. He got that. He got that experience points. And as he's cracking into her PC, Barb Howard was working on the FEV, brother.
First evolutionary virus.
You lied to us.
She was working on the FEV. She was working on the FEV. Barb was working on the FEV. And he's like, FEV, and out of nowhere, Bud's assistant, Clark, comes in and rips the computer cord out. Which is, oh my God, that computer has so much shit in that terminal. He rips it out and then like makes shift to tight wire so he can strangle him. And immediately, because Norm's, his perception is extremely high, he grabs the lamp, he uses that as a weapon, but Norm was overpowered. This guy is way bigger. So he overpowers him, chokes him out, and he's like, you betrayed us, you lied to us. And he chokes him and just completely knocks him out, which we knew he wanted power in the first place, and he already had his doubts, but he was so much of a worker drone that he wasn't really gonna like test his theory. But now that he knows for sure, that's what's happening. So I'm assuming next episode is gonna be crazy because you got this faction that's gonna be led by Clark, and you got the small allegiance between Claudia and Norm, and somehow, some kind of way, I know Norm's going to survive, but is he going to split this vault group, or are they all going to completely? Because he is the expert of the apocalypse. They might know everything before then, but all that shit's out of the window. So that's exciting. Now let's get to, I think, the other intriguing part of this, and that is Howard's life. Which, is it weird that when the main character of the show last name is Howard, and Todd Howard is the creator of Fallout? Stroking that ego. Anyways, so let's get to that part. So they walk up to, he finally arrives at Lucky 38, there's a politician. The politician that was at the previous episode that was like trying to like rally people to like come together, stop this end of the world, saying the government is like shouldn't be doing all this stuff. She's there trying to, get Mr. House's help. She's thrown out on her ass. He helps her up. Everybody's looking like shocked, and he helps her up, and he's just like, keep doing the good, keep doing the Lord's work, fighting a good fight. He goes in there. He's on his espionage mission. He already spoke to Moldova. Okay, forget that. He spoke to Moldova before he got there. When he got to the airport, they was talking to each other in two like little phone booths, and he basically told her, "I'm not killing anybody. That's not what I'm gonna do." She was like, "No, that's what you do. You're a soldier. You kill people. Come on now." He's like, "No, I'm not doing none of that." So he goes there with this mission to completely just, steal the Cold Fusion. And guess who greets them at the airport and who has a goddamn Cold Fusion? It's Hank. Pre-war Hank has a Cold Fusion. He has it completely attached to his wrist with a kind of like a. How the hell does Moldova survive? We still gotta figure out how Moldova survived the apocalypse as Moldova. She had to get put in a vault somewhere. Anyways, so Hank has this, and this whole time he's thinking like, okay, how am I gonna get this off of Hank's wrist? Like, how am I gonna unattach this? And then eventually Mr. House spots him. He's like, and here's the crazy part. Mr. House walks up to him and he goes, "Mr. House wants to see you upstairs." And he's thinking, "You're Eddie House." And I'm thinking, "You're Eddie." No, I knew he wasn't Eddie House because he didn't look like Eddie House. But I'm like, yo, what the hell's going on? So they go up the elevators and then boom.
You came to Vegas to kill me. Did you not?
Looking at everything, looking all over Vegas. And he's like, "Mr. Howard, please come downstairs." And he's like, "I'm not coming down there." He's like, "I know you came here to kill me, and that's interesting. That's your goal, but come down here, let's talk." He's like, "I'm not coming down here." He's like, "Oh, I think you would love to hear what I have to say because it has something to do with your wife." So then he goes down there, and then they have this conversation where Mr. House basically tells them everything that we know from the show. He gives them like the whole exposition, like everything we know about the past, like Vault Tech is going to profit off the end of the world, so they're going to stuff a bunch of people in vaults, and bombs are going to drop, and the world's going to end very soon. And Howard's like, "How do you know this?" He's like, "Because I run mathematical equations on a daily basis, and I cross-reference them with political and social and like inaptities to see exactly what's actually happening in the world. And from everything that I see, this is about to be the end of the world is coming." And it's crazy because at first it was predicted for this date. He gives him a date. He's like, "Do you know that date?" He's like, "It's my daughter's birthday." He's like, "Oh, okay. Well, that's the date the world was going to end, on your daughter's birthday," which is kind of interesting. He's like, "What are you trying to say? Like, someone's going to pull the trigger?" He's like, "No, not really. Because I don't think, Vault-Tec's not going to pull the trigger. That's 100% sure." He's like, "Well, then everybody's saying you're going to end the world. You have bombs." He's like, "No, I'm going to protect Vegas." And he's like, "So that's why you need Cold Fusion?" He's like, he just straight up tell him, "Yeah, to preserve my mind in a robotic stasis that can protect Vegas for all time. That's why I need Cold Fusion. I want to protect Vegas." He's like, "Well, everybody thinks you're like this crazy warmonger." He's like, "No, I'm like far from it." He's like, "I want to see, I don't want the world to end, but I know it's going to happen, so I want to prepare for it and protect as many people as possible." Who'd have thought Mr. House is a good guy? Who would have thought Mr. House is a good guy? Maybe I should have listened to him in New Vegas. Like, I feel like an asshole. I popped Mr. House for shooting me in the head. I popped the shit out of Mr. House. But who would have thought Mr. House was actually a fucking good guy? It would have thought. Who would have thought? I never would have thought in a million years. Mr. House is a good guy. Well, because in the Fallout world, good and bad is like this fucking thing of the line. So Mr. House is actually a good guy. That's why Vegas is standing. Mr. House wanted to protect that area. So, like, that's interesting. So, why the world was still able to keep going, Mr. House shut down all those fucking nukes. Like, it's crazy. Mr. House is not bad. So, they're talking about this situation. He's basically, and Mr. House is like, because I'm gonna be honest with you, like, everything I had, like, I seen it and knew it was coming. I was getting prepared for it. That's why I'm going to trade for Cold Fusion. He's like, "That's why you traded for my wife for Cold Fusion." He was like, "Yeah, no, it's not exactly what you think. Like, I'm trying to like save stuff, but I'll be honest with you. Ever since you like said you were coming to Vegas, the timeline for the end of the world has moved up." He's like, excuse me? He's like, yeah. He's like, I don't know what you are and what you're doing, but you're basically going, like, I don't know if you're the catalyst, but like the world is ending. And you're increasing doomsday. Like every one of your actions are getting us closer to the end. And if you make well, I mean, honestly, if you just look at a lot of things from what he's actually done so far in this show, yeah, he has met all the top players out of nowhere, seen all the plans go through, and if he's pushing it forward based on his actions or his actions therefore in the future, that's interesting because then he's the one who put his fucking family in jeopardy. That also could be why the ghoul is so torn by this whole situation, why he's looking for Barb so hardcore. So he goes and tells him this, and he's like, what about my wife? He's like, oh, your wife? No, she's a player. She's not dropping the bomb. She's just trading the confusion because she's a player. She's into something else. She's not just a Vault Tech normie, which now we know because of the FEV, he was right. He's like, she's into something else. She's playing a whole different game. It was like, man, you don't know nothing about me. He's like, yeah, no, I do. I was there with you when the monster attacked. He's like, excuse me? He was like, yeah, there's a little piece of tech that let me see through all the power armors. I was there for you when that monster attacked. And whoever sent that monster is who is going to drop the bombs. That's the United States government, dude. That's a huge thing. Because everybody in Fallout has already, Fallout 2, China dropped the bombs first. We've been lied to. What Mr. House is telling you is correct. And at this point in time, I think he's the accurate character in the Fallout lore. And Mr. House is what he's telling us is correct. It is 100% the United States government. The United States government tried to end the world. Period. So then the Enclave, literally this is the Enclave is the big bad. They're the official big bad of the Fallout world. Because the Enclave is the remnant of the United States government. They tucked themselves away, and then when the bombs were getting dropped, and everybody thought it was to try to, because they knew it was coming, or they're trying to protect themselves from China. Come to find out, it might have been their fucking plan all along. And they released the fucking death clause. And the FEV. Don't get me started. So then, is his wife secretly working for the Enclave? I don't know. But the intrigue is going, man. And I just love to have the theory, even if it isn't true, that the fact that there's a theory that can now exist inside of the lore of Fallout after all these years is so cool. I even hit my own mic. I'm excited. So this triggers the shit out of Howard. He leaves. He's like, what? And then Mr. House puts on the fucking helmet that we know, the brain transfer helmet, because the brain waves, because he's like trying to figure everything out. He goes full on fucking Professor Xavier. And like he's leaving and he's in a drunken slumber. He goes downstairs super fucking drunk and super wasted. He does a bunch of like just wasted ass shit. And then he sees his wife finds him and they get to the hotel and he goes, we have to talk. And oh my God, if he tells her the shit that he knows, it's definitely going to lead to the separation, or at least lead to her leaving him out of the vault and proceeding her, like moving her plans up for it. So he might actually be the reason that shit moved as fast as it moved. So then we flash forward to the future. Now, before we get to Lucy and the Ghoul, I want to get to what Hank is doing, because it all ties in together. So Hank has kidnapped that weird ass doctor. He brought him back to the lab where he's testing the mind control devices, and he's like, so look, what if I was to tell you, you can forget everything you know and everyone you know and start over again? He's like, yes, please. Yeah, the doctor's fucking weird. So he goes and works on it, and this looks like, oh, he posts up a little more. The doctor's like, ah. And there's like this scene where you're like, oh my God. And then they pan out where you get to see the glass, and I'm like, oh shit. Killed one of the weirdest characters in the show, but it's kind of funny. Nope. It worked. Hank figured it out. Flash forward to Lucy and the Ghoul. They are trying to get away from these death claws. So the Ghoul takes a grenade, throws it in the bag, and pops it. And the death claws look for like 2 seconds, and they run and they slide through the gate to get the free side. So they went to free side, thankfully. The death claws are like barricaded in there so they can't get out. And they're walking around, they're completely just like exhausted. The Ghoul is like, my life, man. And she's like, yo, you all right? He's like, man, listen, man, I need to go. I'm going to go get a drink. He's like, you're addicted to drugs. Here's some money. go to Sunset Sapphire Saloon and go get you some addict off. It'll help you get rid of your addiction. And then he goes into a bar. He sits down, gets drinking, and this guy's like giving us exposition to bartender. He's like, "Man, I can't believe like them damn Death Claws came in out of nowhere and they took over." He's like, "Shit, it's not one thing, it's another. It wasn't Mr. House, this Death Claw, and the next thing you know, it's gonna be Siege of Legion. But I'll tell you one thing, damn Legends better not try to charge me no taxes." How you think do the hell they want? They don't charge me no taxes. And he's like, because this they probably came in from a little. So everybody thinks they came in from the south, which we know it was a Death Claw facility in the game. He said we probably think they came in from the south, but hell, I don't care as long as it's going to be on taxes. And he looks at the ghoul, looks at him in his face, and he's like, "Just give me the bottle," because he's like brooding, bro. He's brooding hardcore. He is so upset about everything that's happened, and he's so sad about everything that's happened. Like he doesn't know what to do, because basically that was his ticket. He was going to come talk to Mr. House, and he's going to try to figure out what's going on. So we go to Lucy, and Lucy's like completely like in an opportunity where she sees the price of the drugs went up, right? Everything's like super marked up, like extremely high prices, and she sees the back door to the store open, so she has to make a moral decision. Lucy decides to sneak in, and as she's sneaking in, she said, "Fuck it, I don't see nobody," and she goes to steal the drugs, and then she sees the power glove, and then she puts that bitch in her bag too. She's like, "Fuck it, I'm already stealing." And as she gets ready to creep out, she sees a man in a barrel, cut up, strung up, naked. And then she sees this giant massive man wearing these super small ass clothes under the sign of Sonny, with a picture of Sonny. And she's looking at him like, "Hi, what's up?" He looking at her like, "Hey, what's up?" She's like, "Yeah, so, hey, I'm just leaving." He's like, "Yeah, what you doing here?" And then she's like, "Yeah, so, just ask the question. Are you Sonny? You're not." He's like, "Yeah, I'm Sonny. And there's one of the new management, actually." He's like, "Oh, okay. So there isn't a person in this barrel over here, right? This naked person is not actually Sonny." And then the dude, like, they get to the standoff where she's basically like looking at him like, "Bro, I'll let you do what the hell you do. You let me do what I do." But then he started looking at the gun, and she's like, "Please don't. Please don't reach for that gun, sir. I will have to disarm you." And he goes and reaches for the gun, and she shoots him. But remember, she's coming off this drug high. So this time, instead of like doing what she normally would do, like shoot him in the shoulder or something like that, she shoots him center mass in the chest. Kills this guy. And she's just like out of it. Completely out of it. And she don't know what to do. Somebody walks in, she's like, "Where's Sonny?" She's like, "I don't know." And she's like, "Who are you?" And she's like, "I don't know." And it's so impactful to see that her character has finally hit to the point where the wasteland has gotten to her, which I think this is a good time to reintroduce Maximus into the story for her, so she can go back to finding that center. Because remember, Maximus is this moral compass in the wasteland. So I would really love for her to get to Maximus, because although Maximus has done all this badass shit, he's still stuck in his. No matter what the shit is going on around him, no matter who he's trying to appease, he's always trying to do the right thing. And I feel like Lucy's the same way. So when her and Maximus links up again, I feel like that's going to be a point in the story. And I hope it's in the next episode or two. So, that being said, she goes back to meet the ghoul at the hotel. And the ghoul is drinking, and he's like super like moody. And he's like telling her like he's been to every vault. And she's throwing up everywhere because she took the dick off. And he's telling her like he's been in every vault but the one in Vegas. And he had on the East Coast, and he has yet to find. He said he's been some places on the West Coast. He said, "I've been in a bunch of different vaults, but I have yet to find." I think he says even the ones for Vault 76. So he's actually talking about the Appalachian Mountains of Vault 76. But he says, "I've never found her. I can't find her. And the only one I haven't been to is the one in Las Vegas, the hidden one in Las Vegas. And now they got them Death Claws. So what am I going to do? Like, I don't know what to do." And out of nowhere comes our weirdo doctor, and he's like, they're like, "What the hell?" And he's just like, "Yo, hey, so like, check me out. I'm here to find your father." And he's like using the proxy, like telling her like, "Okay, so this is the deal. Your father wants you to go home, wants you to be safe, because he's about to implement his plans, but he wants you to be safe during the process. He doesn't want you to go back to the vault so you can be safe." And she's like, I'm not going back to the vault. No, I'm not doing that. And then he listens to Ghoul, and he's like, so, you know, we have your, he basically tells him, I have your family. Your family's in stasis. And if they were to wake up outside of their stasis improperly, it wouldn't be good for them. Like, I don't know if they'll be able to survive it. So he gives them a proposition. He says, you know, hey, if you get my daughter home safely, I'll make sure your family gets out of stasis safely. And so the Ghoul, I accepts. He's like, man, family, man. He tells the families they're fucked up. He said, families, man, it's such a fucked up thing. And he turns around and pops her with the tranquilizers. So she's falling out. Her fucking addictor hits the ground. Her power gloves over there, just passing out. And he's like having this whole soliloquy, like, you know, I'm sorry, man. You know, I really didn't want to do this, but like, this is my only opportunity to get my family back. And she takes the addictor on the ground, right? And just enough to get her strength back. Grabs a power glove.
I thought we were friends.
And just, it's magical. She punches the shit out of this Ghoul. So the Ghoul is cooked. He falls out the window so cool and dramatic like and gets impaled. Is that gonna kill a Ghoul? I don't know. I feel like maybe. I'm not really sure this is the end of the Ghoul story. But she drops his ass. And she's so sad, and she was like, just when we didn't like each other, I thought we were friends. Like, I thought we were friends. And this is her first betrayal. Like, Maximus didn't betray her. Her father betrayed her. But it was like more or less like disappointment, whatever, rather, for not doing the right thing, doing what she was taught. But this is like her first real betrayal. Like, the first time someone is actually just in her face is completely just like chose their own agenda over like the common good. The common good is stopping her father, stopping Vault Tech. That's her mission. And he was like, I choose my family, which is, she doesn't have a family outside of her sibling and her father that she would, but she did. She kind of did choose her family because she chose to stop her family. And he's choosing to protect his family. So they're doing two different kind of roles here. And I like the clash. But she still passes out. And who shows up? Your old daddy Dearest. And he's like, oh, sugar bombs. So I cannot wait for the next episode. It looks like we're going to go back to the Vault Tech facility. And we're going to check in on Norm. And I do believe it's finally time to check in on Maximus. It's going to be amazing. Maybe Maximus is who finds that Ghoul, actually. And he saves the Ghoul. Maybe Maximus gets the Ghoul down. I don't know. It's very exciting. I'm really, really excited to see where the story is going. The show is pretty awesome. Thank you for watching, guys. This was a great time. Really happy I was able to get this video out. This week has been this is a really tough week for me. My grandpa is going to be buried this weekend, so just made some peace with that, and I was really happy to do some content and hang out with you guys. You guys are amazing. You guys keep me going. I love you so much. Thank you for watching this video. If you haven't already, smack that like button. Don't forget to subscribe. I'll catch you next time, Vault Dwellers. Later.
Couldn't be helped. Family's a fucked up thing.